how regenerative landscape design can be used to feed people, fight climate change, and turn public libraries into laboratories for the next generation of land stewards. Like public schools, libraries are often the beating heart at the center of so many communities, providing internet access, job training, books, software, and sometimes just a safe place to rest. Libraries are one of the most important community assets in America. But there is one part of the library that has largely been neglected: the outside. In 2021, Roots Down launched the Edible Libraries campaign, a partnership with DeKalb County to turn the landscaping around 6 DeKalb County libraries into food forests, pollinator gardens, and outdoor classrooms for youth engagement. A strategy tool has been distributed to provide more examples on how libraries can serve as venues for nature connections, but I'll leave it to Jamie to tell us more.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Really great audience. I am Jamie Rosenthal, founder and CEO of Roots Down. I founded this organization, formerly a farmer known as Farmer Jamie to a lot of the Atlanta locals. I started a farm, and my love for the outside became really apparent. Being an Atlanta native, when I was farming up north, I decided to move back down to where the city was, to where there was more people, more education opportunities. And back in my 20s, there's a little dark history of Mr. Farmer Jamie. I owned and operated a landscaping company. It was really where I actually found a pretty equitable pathway for existing and for making money. As a farmer, not so much. People don't want to spend money on heirloom tomatoes. They'd rather go to Whole Foods and get them for $2.99 a pound. So I realized, as a farmer, how can I blend these two things? Like, the equitable pathway is in landscaping. Americans spend, so there's some dirty, yucky facts we talk about here. Americans spend $115 billion annually on landscaping. That includes maintenance. So these facts are going to kind of build to the case. I work for DeKalb County. We're a consultant for DeKalb County, which is the second largest county in Georgia. And when we kind of been pulling some data, because again, data is really important. We've been talking about the landscaping industry on a whole. So yeah, there's a fact for you, and $115 billion. It's $1 trillion over the last decade. It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for environmental degradation. So again, I'm going to talk about the bad things, right? What does a trillion get you? All of these really wonderful things. We see it, and I think it's ubiquitous everywhere we go in everyday landscaping, whether you're from Michigan to Atlanta to Texas to Arizona. We see a lot of these issues happening on private and public lands, right? And we realize that, we building these facts and these data cases about how much carbon could be sequestered and how many things could actually be, what is the potential for the landscapes of the future. Landscaping industry, I don't want to disparage it too much. I just want to be honest, right? It actually could be a huge agent of change, right? A massive agent of change. I've been leading some policy stuff, and we'll get more into that when we talk about our Fruitful Communities initiative. But a lot of local farmers here in the Atlanta area have started moving to edible landscaping companies, fruitful landscaping companies, people that build pollinator habitats, because they figured it out, right? That landscapes could do all the things that they really wanted to do on their farm, like fight climate change and feed people and grow green jobs. We talk about green jobs all the time in the public sector or in the private sector, and they're not necessarily easy jobs to get into. We're talking about shovel-ready green jobs, right? Easy jobs that people can get into, because everyone, I guarantee you, show of hands, landscaping services, who pays for landscaping services in their yard? Actually, I do, right? It's a good amount of people. You guys are all nature lovers, so I would imagine you guys probably are not exactly my exact audience, but yeah, there we go. So we've coined the phrase productive urban landscape. What is a productive urban landscape? Well, it's landscapes that prioritize these things, and these things need less of the maintenance strategies that we're used to, less of that mowing and the blowing and weed eating around your trees, killing all of your pollinator habitats, and doing all the things like spraying and all of that stuff. But productive urban landscapes prioritize better solutions. I know I'm a farmer, but a lot of people are like, well, we can't just have all like gardens, and they think of gardens, and we're all guilty of this. Like, we put all of our gardens in these little boxes, right? It's crazy to me. I think a productive urban landscape can be the whole landscape plan, right? We've been working with people in DeKalb County and people that are in planning and people that do these site plans and designs, and we've been telling them that you just have to incorporate some fruit trees in your design, incorporate some native pollinator habitat, and then you have a more productive landscape, right? It doesn't need to be in a raised bed box, because those bed boxes teach us that, oh, in that box, that's where everything green and beautiful is, but everything else it's going to get, berated by, chemicals and spray and all that other stuff. So this is where the Fruitful Communities Initiative was born. I think a little bit of deep diving into the past. I used to work with a small city here in Georgia called the city of Clarkston. Anyone familiar with the city of Clarkston? Yeah. I worked with Mayor Ted Terry there for a while and worked directly with the departments creating streetscapes. Mayor Ted Terry moved on from being mayor, and we worked over there in the city of Clarkston. It was a beautiful, beautiful stuff that we did there in Clarkston. And then we started training the public works team on how to actually maintain landscapes like meadows and better landscapes, right? Using less of the mow and blow, because they really hate the mow and blow environment. Well, when Mayor Ted Terry became Commissioner Ted Terry of DeKalb County, right? District 6, and one of the counties that was really responsible for leading this blue charge in Georgia, which was really exciting. We started coming up with a way to do a bigger, larger initiative, and we coined it the Fruitful Communities Initiative. And this is really an engagement and education tool that talks to 3 audiences. Number 1, the constituents. Number 2, the landscapers. And number 3, the government. We did this pilot at the libraries because some of the commissioners were like, well, we have COVID, the libraries are crippled by not being able to educate. And I said, well, let's think of community land assets. Well, school boards, they come with a lot of bureaucracy and red tape. The library director, Allison Weisinger, I'll give her a shout out for DeKalb County, was like, we have 23 libraries. We need to make a change there. So we wrapped our whole Fruitful Communities initiative and all of our policy initiatives around the libraries. And we called it our Fruitful Communities Initiative. And to date, as of just last week, we were able to create a resolution, a Fruitful Libraries resolution, which actually prioritizes changing all 23 DeKalb County libraries over to these more environmentally friendly spaces. So it's a big win. It's got to leave committee and get voted on by 7 commissioners, but we've been working with them and we've been doing plenty of lobbying, so really hope this is going to pass. Earth Day to Earth Day. I've been doing like outdoor work for almost 2 decades, but Roots Down's kind of new, about 3 years old. And we have been working with the county commission for only 18 months. So these stats are just in about a year that's happened. So because a lot of the elected officials and a lot of everyone have green policies and green initiatives, and they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on landscapes, on their landscaping budget. So we're like, okay, well, let's kind of go and work with you on this. So we went in the path of least resistance. We moved like water through the government. We made a lot of friends. So let me tell you what we have done. A little bit of stuff that we've done here. Up to date, Fruitful. Well, now we call it the Fruitful Libraries, not edible libraries, because that has a little bit of a problem. Because a lot of people are like, well, if it's all edible, then where's all the food go? We have an answer for that, but we now call it the Fruitful Libraries projects. We actually have built a senior center in that time frame too. Gardens around a senior center that was all native pollinator habitat and some herbs, because they want to do like cocktails outside when they open up their senior center. I'm like, we can help out with this. We can help out with this, come on. I like to make cocktails, I'll do that for you. We are working with the senior centers, the libraries, and we also have one private development, the Cottages on Vaughn, which is the Microlife Institute's project over in Clarkston. We built that, helped them build that landscape as well. Look at all the plants we've been able to plant. Lots of fruit trees and bushes, over 300 131,000 square feet converted, and over $40,000 in resources brought to projects, other companies giving us grants to do things, donating plants, donating soil. DeKalb County has a really lovely soil program. We were able to take advantage of that. Lots and lots. It was about 750 yards of municipal compost that we spread in a year. So one big part, and I don't want to leave this out. We actually realized what ecosystem is needed in order to make this change and have these things in perpetuity. Well, it's advocacy and it's education. Who better to lead the advocacy and education wing for our company rather than the youth? Because they are charged. They have a lot of climate anxiety. And we talk about it at a global scale, and it goes over everyone's head, especially, I have a 13-year-old child, and they're like, Dad, what are you doing? What are you doing to stop climate change? And I'm like, well, I'm changing over the libraries. That's what we're doing locally. So we graduated 10 Green Hive leaders. We have a Green Hive leadership program. 10 Green Hive leaders at schools, Agnes Scott, GSU, and Emory University here locally in Atlanta. And we gave them policy 101 crash courses. We had them meet with elected officials. We had them decide on what they want to see for their green spaces in the future. And the GSU team, on their final project that they did, they came back to us and were like, we have a policy initiative that we're going to, the president of GSU, they actually got an appointment with him, and we're going to want to change our green spaces over to more productive green spaces. I was like, holy hell, they did it. So anyway, big wins from Earth Day to Earth Day. These are some of the sites. We think this is a funny picture. You got my business partner in the background texting while I'm watering the plants. That's what the soil looks like before. Like some of these sites, they were just not the greatest. I'm a farmer. I grow soil using cover crops. So this is me doing like a cover crop intro, growing this in District 5, which is Stonecrest, the city of Stonecrest. And so these are some of the before and afters. That's Cottages on Vaughn. A little before and after, what productive landscapes, minimizing grass in our landscapes, and non-native plants. That's the Clarkson Library site. That's what it looked like before, behind the library, and that's what it's starting to look like now. Now, this year, it's been a year since that picture, so you can imagine lots of things like service berries and blueberries. We've got like 40 blueberries planted on the site. So, and the kids last year ate every single one of them in a day. It's amazing. So that's some of our really big wins in working with local government and working at the libraries. We really want to institute this change at the libraries. We feel like the libraries can really be our place of learning hubs and our environment for change, because a lot of people, when they come to the libraries, the first question they ask is, how can I do this at home? So we're creating an educational online platform for landscapers to learn these schools and for these skills and learn how to upgrade themselves into this new job platform, because the market is ready and it's primed in order to go towards productive urban spaces. So, thank you so much.
Thanks, Farmer Jamie.
Thank you.
Any questions? Yes, ma'am, right here. Oh, 1 second. 1 second, sir. I'm going to take the question right here, and then I'll come back to you. The question is, has word about your work traveled, and are you getting inquiries from other parts of the country?
Yes, indeed. This conference has really kind of opened up a lot of inquisitive minds, and which has been great. But yeah, we have heard from other places. The commissioner we work with, who he is very connected to a lot of municipalities, and he's been talking. He talks about this like all the time, and he's like, Jamie, there is a lot of stuff we could do in other cities and other municipalities. Our skunk works here in DeKalb County is a big sandlot, a big place to play our ideas around. And I think that once we get this model really ramped up and really going, we're actually closing the deal with WorkSource, DeKalb, and Piedmont Tech in order to get the training certificates for the landscapers. So once we have case proven this model and it's bulletproof, yes, we'll start rolling this out. I feel like and our partner list is huge. We didn't have that slide on there, but we're partnered with everyone from Concrete Jungle to the Audubon. So yes, we are wanting to take this far and wide because landscaping is everywhere.
Excellent. And then I'll take the question in the back now. After the gardens have been installed, how are they managed?
Yeah, so right now I have a vendor that I have been working with for a while, maintaining these as a way to showcase how to maintain them to the facilities management company, which actually hires a vendor to do the maintenance. So I've embedded myself with the maintenance firm responsible. Artscape is the name of the landscaping company, which is a typical mow and blow. I've embedded myself with them and have provided onboarding opportunities, and they are actually going to train their whole department on how to maintain these landscapes. These are just different landscapes, really different planting patterns. I want to create landscapes that are easy to maintain and not a maintenance nightmare. So we've been able to onboard them, and they love it. They're like, oh, I get to mow less and spray less? Yeah, please, thank you so much. So we've been in the process of onboarding, and then once the educational platform is there in June, when we graduate them in late June, after this one-day certification, we'll be handing over the reins to them, and they'll be maintaining this for the next 18 months.
I'll take the question right here.
I hope I'm not being inappropriate, but my impression is that the landscaping industry is not exactly a racially neutral industry. And I'm wondering how that has impact on your work here.
So the question was, how has the landscaping industry, which isn't exactly racially neutral, how has that impacted your work? Do we need a little clarity around that question?
That's a big question. Yes, the landscaping industry here in Atlanta is really powered and run by most of the Latinx community, right? And we have onboarded and talked to them, and they are excited about this opportunity. They want upward mobility, and this, working through WorkSource DeKalb and Piedmont Tech, we're going to put the landscaping company, we're going to put the onus on them to let these people climb a ladder through certificates. So they're excited. They're excited about it, and I think that is like, yeah, like I was a landscaper for a good part of 4 or 5 years of my life, and I could tell you, some of the most hardest working, most lovely people you could ever imagine. And they are land stewards. They are just given, the wrong tools in which to, steward our land. And, they're doing what the consumers want. The consumers are what, they're asking for this. They're asking for the spraying, and they're asking for the chemicals. So they're excited, really excited, and we're going to be offering this program in multiple languages.
Excellent. I'll take one more question. I think I saw a hand in the back. Maybe not, but I have one in the front.
One quick question. Is this just in this area off of Massachusetts? Are you planning on rolling this out in other areas?
So the question is this just in Georgia, in this area? And I guess what's your plan for future rollouts?
Well, I'm hiring a lot of people this year. We are opening up our company for funding, and we are planning on rolling this out nationwide. It will probably take about anywhere between 8 to 12 months to do this. There's a tech play here for us. We feel like a platform, a digital platform is going to be really great in order for people to earn certificates and understand through QR codes and technologies and understand what these landscapes can do. Tracking carbon sequestration and all these things. And I feel like this is definitely a platform, like, this has gotten bigger than me, way bigger than me. And I want to see this change in our society. I think it's needed. So you bet you're behind, this is going to be a national program before too long. Yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to end with that question, but if you have another question, hopefully Jamie and the rest of our speakers wouldn't mind sticking around for a bit to answer them. So
Yeah.
thank you one more time.
Thank you so much.
Jamie.